So here's the massive Himalayan, Sierra. I mean, just kind of look at the sweep of this kind of real estate territory.
This is a cliff of sugar, by and large, right?
Yeah, with little passes in between where you can try to sort of navigate yourself to get to the more whole foods.
Americans spend about half as much time cooking as they did in the 1960s, relying more than ever on highly processed foods. The New York Times brought together noted food journalists Michael Moss and Michael Pollan.
Oh my God, we got to get some of these.
To talk about home cooking, the food industry, and navigating a typical supermarket.
You know, this seems like such a tranquil atmosphere here. Quiet, There's peaceful music, smells okay, but behind these shelves is the most fiercely competitive industry there is. They are all jockeying for position on the shelf. They're fighting each other for stomach share, that they call.
Both authors have recently published books. Michael Moss investigates the development and marketing of food products in salt, sugar, fat, and Michael Pollan rediscovers his own kitchen in Cooked.
You know, a lot of people, when they hear this term processed food, assume it's all the same and it's all equally bad.
Right.
And it's actually not true. There are processed foods that are 1 or 2 or maybe 3 ingredient processed foods. And then there are these things we call ultra processed or hyper processed foods.
Right. Lunchables, we have to say something about
this is a great product. Well,
right?
You should talk about this.
Oscar Mayer first came up with this idea because back in the 80s they were having trouble selling red meat. They put their geniuses together and they were actually marketing people to look at a way of repackaging their essential ingredients. So they started with the red meat, and then added cheese when they merged with Kraft. They used crackers because they couldn't use bread. And then they came up with this great kind of school bus yellow motif for the package. By Kraft's own acknowledgement, it's not about the food as much as it is about the empowerment.
All day, you gotta do what they say. But lunchtime is all yours.
And look at the number of ingredients. This is a hyper-processed food.
How do you feel about frozen vegetables and frozen fish?
This again goes to that distinction between processed food and ultra-processed food. I think frozen vegetables are terrific, and I always have frozen spinach. And this is a really simple product. It's basically spinach. Here's a case where I would buy organic, but I don't see it. And that's an important point. It's more important that you eat vegetables, even if they're conventional, I'm talking about for your health, than it is that you wait till you can afford organic or you can find organic. This is a real convenience food that I think genuinely is a boon to mankind.
Okay.
So we'll get one of those. Okay, Stonyfield, low fat, fruit on the bottom. This has 21 grams of sugar per 6 ounces.
So there is this chobani.
And this is organic, by the way. This illustrates the point you were making earlier. And this is probiotic gut. Probiotics, that's another magic word.
Yeah.
But it has 26 grams of sugar. This has more sugar in it than Coca-Cola. So I once asked a yogurt manufacturer
14, by the way.
why you don't have the equivalent of Honest Tea for yogurt, like for adults who don't want to be swamped with sugar,
Right.
or don't want to give their kids sugar.
Right.
And he explained to me how the pressure, the arms race to get more and more sugar in is irresistible. If your competitor has more sugar, they're going to sell more yogurt, so you have to match them.
There was a company I ran into that put a ticker tape of this showing their stock price in the lobby so their employees could see it every
day.
morning when they came to work, so they would know what was most important, right?
Wow. But they're playing, of course, with these very deep desires we have that we don't have that much control over. Yeah. And those are the levers that they're manipulating constantly.
All right.
We need to go to the fresh area.
Yep, all the way across the yard. Hinterlands.